Welcome back to your weaving channel, everyone. Today, well, actually not today, this video, I'm just going to focus on the basket weave. Now, let's look at the basket weave one more time. What you should notice is the basket weave is very similar to tabby. The only difference is instead of going under over with just one of the warp threads, you're actually going under over two at a time. So you'll go over two, under two, over two, under two. It's a nice weave. It's very simple. So let's get started. For this demonstration, I have one of my extra looms. Again, my warp threads are white and my weft thread is orange. A nice eye-searing orange. This is always going to be something that you guys do every time you start or you have a new color, starting a new weave, whichever one. You're going to get the tail and tie it onto your needle. Sometimes you might have another needle at home. They're weaving needles. They're blue. They have really, really big eyes. I don't care. Also, I sometimes have students that won't use the needle. They'll just use their fingers. Really, it's your preference. You know, as long as you're paying attention to the weave and making sure that you're not missing the pattern. I don't mind. I don't mind how you get your stuff done. Whatever floats your boat. I like using the needle because it feels faster to me. Just like before, I'm going to pick like somewhere around here to start my knot. Again, I don't always want to start at the same spot. You want to kind of move your knots all the way around. So again, I'm just going to tie it onto the warp. This should be a little bit easier now. Once and one more. Now again, I'm going to start off to the right. You don't have to. It doesn't really matter. I like to start off to the right, but that's just me. Just like before, when we looked at the visual of basket weave, you're going to do the under over like tabby, but with two warps, not just one. So here's my knot. I'm going to start over. So I'm going to go over these two. I'm going to go under these two. Now here's the first dilemma. I'm going to go over these two. I'm going to go under one. Remember, don't let it pull your warp thread too much. So over two, under two, over two, under one, under two. For those of you that said underwear, no, sillies. Okay. And I start again. Over two, under two. Over two, under two. You guys get the hang of it. Over two, under two. Just like before, what's always going to be the issue is when you start and stop. You just really want to make sure that the weave continues, that your pattern continues. Basket isn't terribly different from tabby. It's just in the amount. So under two, over two, under two, over two, under two, over two, under two, over one, over two, under two. This is why that whole odd and even really was important with how many warp threads you have, because your pattern will make sense because of it. So going under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2. So because of the knot and because of the doubles, I'm going to go over 1, under 2. So see, at the knot, I just do that 1. So whenever I come to that knot for this time around, it's always going to be that singular. So now I'm opposite, and that's what I want. So I'm going to go over 2, under 2. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a few rows so that way you can see what this looks like when it's all bunched together and how that differs from tabby. It's very, very similar. Again, you're just going 2, but you're stopping the exact same way. And you want to just continue to follow that pattern as you go. Now, I just finished this one length of yarn. For my basket weave, so I'm going to do some more so you can really see the how this weave looks versus the tabby. But I wanted you to notice that just like how I began, I just tied my knot on one of the warp threads, and so even though I was going over 2 and this was under 2, I still only tied the knot to 1. I didn't tie it to both. What would happen is I would pinch your warp threads, and that's not what we want. We don't want those to get too tight because we're going to do other styles of weaving. So I just tied the knot to 1. So I'm going to continue on so I can keep doing some more baskets. That way you guys can see exactly how that looks and how it's slightly different from tabby. So what you see here is I have done a few more rows of basket. This orange is nice and searing, so let me get a close-up so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me see if I turn the lamp off. No. So what you're going to notice is that it has this really nice wide weave to it. You'll kind of also see that the warp threads are getting squished together. Don't worry about this. Once you start another weaving style, they'll separate again. So this is basket, where we're going over 2, under 2, over 2. And I want you to notice that sometimes there's going to be like an odd one. So you'll be like under 2, over 2, under 2. And then there will be this one area where you had to kind of fudge, kind of like force it to keep going with the pattern because of like a knot or because something else happened. Sometimes you can fix those. So like I had these, I think were individual, and I suddenly started grouping them together as I got past another knot. So it's okay. It's gonna really blend in when you start. So don't worry too much about like, oh, there's this one that isn't 2. That's going to happen. Sometimes it's 1. And sometimes to get the pattern to stay in that basket, you'll have actually like 3 warp threads clumped together. And that's okay. Whichever one works. The majority have to have the 2 over, 2 under, 2 over, 2 under. So this is the basket. Now, let's take a look at the tabby again, so that way you can kind of just remember the difference between the two. So here is my bag. I'm starting, everyone's starting with tabby at the bottom. And it's the same idea as basket, except you're just doing 1. So basket just looks like a larger, longer version of the tabby. The tabby is just this kind of like little wave thing happening, and basket's a little bit wider. So it's nice. I like basket. It's pretty simple. Um, you can use basket or tabby when you do like the button stitch, or when you're starting one of your other parts as well. But it's fairly simple, and it looks pretty nice and large. And that is how you do the basket weave.